up to the boys. Fox and Shane, set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but a pretty town red. Can't let that shit get in my head, war gaming.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast. I am Shane, hanging out with Fox.
I have so many questions, but I'll have to wait till after the podcast. Hey, what's up? I'm Fox.
We have no Churchy today. We are flying solo together. Churchy is deep into Starfield right now.
Do you mean flying duo then?
Solo together.
It's kind of like how we do the podcast, is solo but together.
Flying by the seat of our pants.
But we are representing Churchy.
We are. He's here in t-shirt form.
Yeah, this is Churchy trying to escape the void, got sucked back in where he is now playing Starfield.
Yeah. New Churchy stickers will be available soon along with the Touch the Lamp and one thick coat.
That's right. You'll be able to buy a Churchy stickies.
Stickies?
I think they're going to be about $31 each.
Yep.
So,
of course, they're Churchy stickers.
Yeah. Ours are free with every Churchy sticker purchase.
The first time you'll be able to get those is probably going to be at PAX. So
yeah, for sure.
If I see you walking
PAX
around
Melbourne.
or you see us walking around, you're getting a sticker.
Especially if you're an American that flew into PAX just to get a Churchy sticker,
Two
which
stickers.
is two Churchy stickers,
Two Churchy stickers
just for you.
Yeah.
Limited. What is it? Subject to
Limited one per customer.
Cool. What are we doing? What are we talking
Today
about?
we are talking about a game that is dear to us, Lost Patrol.
Yeah, and also near to us because we have the book next to us.
And the box just behind.
It's always been just behind us as well.
It's been pretty close. Yep.
Ready, waiting in the lurks, just like the enemies in the board game.
The lurkers,
The lurkers.
soon to be known as Gene Stealers.
Yeah. Were they? Tell me about what you know about Lost Patrol. Do you know anything about its origins, when it came out, all that stuff?
Yeah, I know a bit. So the issue that I have is from 2016. It was the first not 40K thing that I bought. Well, it would have been close to Silver Tower, but it was
Yeah, I know you definitely got this before Silver Tower.
yeah,
Because I remember when we played Silver Tower, you were like, it's like Lost Patrol, but fantasy.
okay,
And I was like,
yeah.
oh, cool.
Yeah. And then it was so much more complicated than Lost Patrol. But it was still fun.
Yeah.
So the original issue was like 2000 and it came with the early scouts and tokens for the lurkers before they were called Gene Stealers.
Oh, right.
Or before they had incorporated Gene Stealers into the game.
Wow. So when the first one came out, Gene Stealers weren't a thing.
I feel like they were, but they weren't in the game.
Right.
It was just like generic alien enemy.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. And then they must have fluffed around with the lore a little bit and they've decided to put them as Gene Stealers instead.
Sure.
Which seems like way too OP considering how one single Gene Stealer can turn an entire planet into a Gene Stealer cult.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for sure. There's I feel like, I mean, I've brain lored this, but to me there's like your regular pure strain Gene Stealers, which are super clever, really strong, but ultimately like are still a souped up Hormigaunt.
Yeah. Like it's Hormigaunt on the juice.
On the juice.
Yeah.
But then there's ones that rarely you know how like I think it's like if there's no queen bees, a bee will turn into the queen.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm thinking of an ant.
Queen bee as in like Beyonce.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so if there's no Beyonce, just a regular person will turn into Beyonce.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a cool mechanic that we as humans
I wouldn't
have.
mind being Beyonce for a day.
I'm sorry, there must be a Beyonce nearby, and I think I know where it is.
Yes, queen.
Yes, queen. So, so I think some sort of creatures do that, where if there's not the reproducing version of it.
Like frogs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. And so in my mind, I'm like, I reckon a Gene Stealer does that. If it gets isolated, it can sort of excel and become a super smart, super strong.
Like a patriarch.
Turns into the patriarch. Yeah.
From memory, there's a Gene Stealer like splinter thing. You ever seen the Gene Stealer heads with like the tentacles?
Yeah. The Cthulhu sort of.
Yeah. They're called something, and from memory, there's like all these Gene Stealers that ended up on this planet, and because they were isolated from the hive mind, they became sort of just like animalistic kind of, like almost like they devolved, right? So they didn't become more smart. They become smooth brain.
They become more unsmart.
Yeah. And
they went the opposite end.
Exactly, the other side of the scale.
Yeah.
And from memory, they're called a Yanarl or something. I don't know. Some kind of. You've probably seen it mentioned.
I think so. Yeah. I think you're not making up what you're talking about.
That's what I try. At least once a day, I try not to make something up.
It's like a basis for your knowledge.
Yep.
And it may be garbage, but it's there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Same as my thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I imagine that these, when they incorporated gene stealers, are sort of like maybe closer to those ones you're talking about, sort of in between. Like all gene stealers are on a spectrum. Yeah. I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
So I feel like these ones to be like realistically, law-wise, a gene stealer with the jump on 5 scouts.
Yep.
I mean, they're gone.
Oh, any day of the week.
So that's what sparked this conversation. That's kind of the premise for the game. Like, you might have multiple of these things jumping out, and you as a small party of Space Marine scouts can fight them off, which obviously if they were the pure strain gene stealers we know,
they wouldn't stand a chance.
So I was surprised they weren't Hormagaunts. That makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah. I'm not sure their logic with the box. Like, this edition came with 5 scouts, like the multi-part scouts, as we know. Well, they're getting changed right now.
Right this second?
So the new scouts?
No.
Oh, it's on Warhammer Community.
Are they good? What are your...
Yeah, they're kind of cool. I like them. I feel like they're Primaris sized. I haven't seen them in the flesh. I'm going to say they're probably like bigger, you know. But
they've scaled them up. They're scaling up everything, I guess.
Yeah. But the models look great. Anyway, so it comes with a sprue of 5 scouts and 12 gene stealers. I can't remember. I think like 8 maybe.
Oh, okay. It says, I mean, it shows a picture of 4.
Yeah, but there's like 2.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, it's even got the Cthulhu one.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so, and then you get, I can't remember, but you get like these infestation node like tokens as well, which I think come on the old gene stealer sprues.
You know what? If it's 8 and 2 infestation nodes or 4.
There's like 6.
Okay, that's kind of more than normal, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think the regular gene stealer sprue, the old one.
Yep.
Old one. Has 8 gene stealers and...
maybe you get 16. Maybe there's like 2 sprues.
Oh, wow.
All I remember was when I got this, it was like $90, and I feel like already that's a deal, like in as far as plastic goes, plus the game.
Yeah, legit.
You know, plus the tiles.
It wouldn't be $90 now.
Nah, it'd be like
sure.
150 or something.
2 sprues.
Yeah.
16.
16, is it?
I don't know. I don't know. There's no way of knowing.
Like it, right?
12. Sorry. Yeah, no, I've completely glocked this. Maybe it is 12.
Maybe 6 on the sprue, you reckon? With 3 nodes?
I thought a box was 8, but maybe I don't know anymore, dude.
Yeah,
I've completely lost it. I've completely lost it.
Yeah, Gritty knows because he's just had an issue with his gene stealers.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought of it in 8s. I think maybe 8 came in the start collect. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's irrelevant. Yeah, you get 12 in this, 6 infestation, 30 map tiles, and 5 Space Marine scouts.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
So the way the game works is basically you've got these tiles, a thick stack of tiles.
30, some would say.
Give or take, depending if you've lost some.
True.
And you play as the 5 scouts.
Yep.
And I guess you can play it solo, right?
You can. Yeah. Oh, well, no, but you could. You know, you could. If you follow sort of like a basic AI for the gene stealers.
Yeah.
You could quite play it solo, yeah.
Because you put down tiles, which in essence will be a path that reveals more tiles.
Yeah, shuffled. So you always have one starting tile, which is like they call it clearing, which it's got 6 pathways out of it.
Yeah,
and then you have one tile, which is the end, the drop pod.
Yeah.
So then you've got 28 tiles in between that.
Yeah,
that builds your path.
And these are hexagonal, so they have, like you said, paths going off one of the facings.
Yep.
Or sometimes multiple. They can be Y paths or cross paths or whatever.
Yep.
And that reveals more paths. And you as the scouts have to get through that stack of tiles.
Yeah.
To get to the last one, which is the drop pod.
Yep.
So you have to explore, but on your way, at the end of your turn, you reveal tiles and you reveal gene stealers.
Yep. You also reveal tiles, then you remove tiles too.
That's right.
So it uses this whole like line of sight mechanic where if your model looking down paths, you have a clear line of sight. So if you have 6 straight paths in a line, you can see all the way down the end of that aisle, right?
Yeah.
But if you have any bends, that's considered as like a line of sight blocker. So if you couldn't get to a bend in 2 moves, so basically 1 turn, then anything after that gets removed.
Yeah.
And it's like if you were to go back that way, it would be a whole new jungle. So it's like the planet is like, or the jungle is like morphing around you, and paths appear and disappear, and it's a death planet, right? It's like literally everything there is trying to kill you.
I imagine like there's like a fog of war mechanic around you, so you can only see so far.
Yeah.
And then the changing of the tiles, if you go back, is kind of like you losing your way and getting disorientated and forgetting where you are.
Yeah, in this deep, dark jungle.
Yeah, so you're like, we've gone this way, and we're like, oh, I don't really, let's go back the way we came, and then suddenly it looks completely different. You're like, this isn't the way we came at all.
Yeah. I don't recognize that giant man-eating plant.
Yeah. I do love how casually the tiles will have some like massive snake on it, or a plant that like looks like it could eat you, and it's like, no, that's the least of your worries. That's not even a mechanic, that's just a visual.
Exactly. Yep.
I also like that the paths, just to add another layer, have some brambles on them.
Yeah. So that's a really cool thing. Like you can move into those brambles tiles, but as soon as you want to move out of there, you've got to roll a 4 up.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you've just wasted one of your 2 actions for each model.
Yeah, so talk to us about the actions and stuff that you can do on your turn. So you're the scouts, your turn's just started.
Yeah.
What can you do?
So you can move or shoot in any combination.
And what I like is you can, it's so good.
It's so easy, man.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Move.
Yep.
Move, shoot, move.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it.
That's it. That is literally it. Which makes it really great for when we played the other night with Jimmy and Rory, 2 inexperienced tabletop gamers, let's say that. Oh,
for sure. Like to the point where I think we played a game with Jimmy once, and you said, so you just roll a 4 up, and he was like, I assume you mean I roll the dice?
It's like, no, you rolled the table.
You roll the table.
You roll yourself.
Like this dice? This one or this one?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
That's how new he is.
Yeah.
He picked it up well.
Oh, yeah. Like sort of by the second or third round, I guess, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And it's just such a fun game. It's punishing, and it's intentionally punishing for anyone playing the scouts. There are rules out there that people have homebrewed to kind of make it a bit easier. Like you could replace them with Terminators, or you can give them scouts with sniper rifles or whatever. Or you can make it so you hit on a 5 up, not a 6.
Sure.
Because there's a modifier with whether you're using the sergeant or the scout with the heavy bolter. But otherwise, if you're trying to shoot at a gene stealer, you're hitting on 6s.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's difficult to kill them, and it's easy to die to them.
Yeah. But it's much easier to kill them in combat, right? So after the scouts have done their turn, you generate new tiles and you remove the old tiles. Then the gene stealer player will place theirs. So they get 3 actions, whether they spawn in 3 gene stealers, that's their turn. Spawn in 1, move twice, or infest with, which means you can now spawn on that tile rather than an open path.
Yeah, basically the only unless you have an infestation pit, the only place you can spawn is the end of a path that on the edge of the fog of war. You've just emerged from the fog of war, but it has to be on a path.
Yeah, so you can't spawn on a dead end, or you can't spawn in the clearing. You have to be like you said, an open end. So you've got 3 actions, and then you do all your actions, and then if you have any adjacent gene stealers to scouts, whether they're on this the path next to them, or you can fight through the jungle, then you have the assault phase. Yeah,
which is interesting because it's as the scout player, you're kind of the assault phase is another opportunity. It's kind of your best bet to kill them.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're kind of but you have no control over it.
No.
It's interesting. No. You kind of just I'll wait for them to come to me, but then also you can die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Die and you just roll the wrong dice. It's one roll. Everything is one roll.
Yep.
If you shoot them and you hit on a 6, they're dead.
They're dead.
If they attack you and you roll, say, a 1 or a 2, usually,
if
you're dead. You remove your model.
Yep.
Which is even more intense when you play with multiple people, each having like 1 or 2 scouts each.
Yeah.
Because the first few games, I would just have 1 scout and then I would roll the wrong thing. It's like, all right, see you later. I'm out of the game.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
But we played like 3 games in the space of, what, a little over an hour?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It wasn't that long. And that was with also teaching, 2 newbies. And yeah, like I remember that first game and you were playing as like the sergeant or the heavy bolter or something like that, and you've moved and then you've been assaulted and you've rolled like a 1 and like, yep, that's
Gone.
it. First turn.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm out.
Yeah. See you guys, have fun.
I think Jimmy gave you like one of the next ones.
Yeah, because Jimmy was playing as 3 normal scouts.
Yeah, 3 normals.
So that was good. And then I think I was the next one to die as well.
Probably. Like again, yeah.
Like 2 more times. Like I died 3 times before either of them died. So I was just not very good at the game.
Yeah. The game, yeah. So it's not a matter of whether you win the game or lose the game. How people like to, track it is like how far you get into the jungle, like how many tiles are you away from the drop pod? Like let's say you get crushed and you've got like 15 tiles before the drop pod spawns. And then the next time you get like 8 tiles away.
Ah, sure.
Count that as a win, right? You're getting, you got closer and you gotten better.
Yeah, in our second game, we were 1 tile away.
Yeah.
So 1 lucky roll or something could have got us over the line. So we were very close. It's definitely winnable.
Yeah.
And, we were playing not very cohesively because we were all controlling our own scouts.
Yeah.
So if it was like one person controlling all 5 scouts and you're trying to set everything up and sending over decoys or whatever.
Yep.
The tricky thing is you split up if you want to explore more of the map, but not too much that you cut off line of sight.
Yep.
Because then you remove half with your models on it.
Yeah, so you have to then pick which side, which team is getting taken by the jungle.
Yeah.
So like you'll be like, oh man, I've got my sergeant over here is on his own, but I've got 3 other dudes here.
Yeah.
It's like, do I sacrifice him?
Yeah.
Or do I keep him alive and sacrifice these guys? So there's some choices to make.
It's very cool. I like it's such a simple game, but there are so many like points of tension still.
Yeah.
Usually with a simple game, you kind of sacrifice tension.
Yeah.
But I think it's awesome. It's like, do I go and explore and keep following this path slowly as a cohesive unit?
Yep.
Keeping everyone close together because you can't have all 5 scouts on a tile that isn't the starting clearing.
That's right, yeah.
So you can't have everyone just stacked up.
Yep.
You kind of have to have some distance. But then that means when you spawn as the Gene Stealer player, you're going to be spawning all 3 of your things there.
Yeah.
And fighting as 3. So, which brings me to combat being nice and clean. 3 Gene Stealers fighting into, say, 3 space scouts.
Yep.
Isn't 3 dice versus 3 die. It's not chaos.
Nah.
It's one roll still.
One roll, yeah. So each Gene Stealer has let's say a combat score of 2.
Yeah.
So if you've got 1 scout fighting 1 Gene Stealer, you basically want to roll a 3 up.
Yeah.
And you're going to kill that Gene Stealer. A 2, you won't die, but you'll get pushed back a tile, and the Gene Stealer will move onto the tile that you were on.
Yeah.
So that obviously that stacks, and then if you've got 3, which is the max, you need a 6 to not die.
Because it's +1 basically for every Gene Stealer. Is that what you're saying?
+2.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right.
So it's like 2 Gene Stealers has a score of 4.
Oh, okay.
So you need to roll a 5 up to kill 1.
Yeah, okay.
But you might have a modifier, like let's say your sergeant's in the combat, so that's a +1.
Yeah.
You might have your scout with a heavy bolter not in combat, but in line of sight.
Yeah.
That's another +1.
It's like supporting fire.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But that's the only bonuses you can get, right? Or,
that's it.
Or if you have multiple scouts, how does that work?
That
doesn't make a difference?
That doesn't make a difference, but from memory, if you have 1 scout, it's a -1, which I don't think we played.
Oh, okay.
But I'm pretty sure a scout on their own I could be wrong. I remember there is a negative modifier, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you're isolated, the Gene Stealers do more damage.
Yeah. Even like 1, then it has a score of basically 3, you call it.
Yeah.
Or a -1 to your roll, so.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. I'm sure that's it.
So then you need... Yeah, wow, okay, so that gets more difficult.
Yeah, because then the sergeants on their own, it's his +1.
And then a -1.
And then -1, so it's like equal. Yeah.
So that's incentive to stick together, but in groups, like of 2 or 3, but not split up too much. And it's really cool for such a simple game, and because you can rep through it so many times. Like if you had just a handful of players, it would be great with like 6 players.
Yeah, you
each
could.
with 1 scout.
Yeah, yeah.
Few brews.
Yeah.
Some pizza.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. And because you could just take your time, have some laugh. It's a perfect game for that.
Yeah.
Not take it too seriously. If you get killed turn 1,
it's only
20 minutes before you're back in the thick of it.
And like you can get it, like you're still a part of the banter, like part of the decision making. Like I kind of like I actually really enjoyed watching all you guys like sweat when it came to like the roll. Like that many times Rory just rolled a 1. Like I've never seen so many 1s hit the like I thought my rolls were terrible.
His rolls were
His
garbage.
rolls were just next level. Like
he actually was. He was like, I'm going to warm up and start my rolling now. And he rolled 7 dice and 5 of them were 1s.
Yeah. Yep.
And like. I was like, oh, good, dude. You got all the 1s out of the way. To the point, his rolls were so bad. He, as a person that doesn't play Wargame, packed up the orange dice and went and grabbed new dice because he was like, this ain't working for me.
Yeah, these dice aren't doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we're all using the 3 green dice that came with the game.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then Rory managed to find more dice. And then I think there was another dice change.
Yeah. It was 3 dice changes. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and none of them worked for him.
He was just dice, dude. It's not the dice.
So, at this point, like maybe when you come with the Gene Stealer ones, maybe they're waiting it so you lose. Then you went and grabbed orange ones, and maybe that was just the orange ones,
Yep.
Yeah.
But, so the game being intentionally difficult, there are ways that, people like sort of soften it a little bit. I think that's the charm. I think like knowing that knowing that you are going to lose.
Yeah,
because there's a mechanic where Gene Stealers can spawn on the drop pod, right? So let's say you've explored all the way through. There it is, the last tile you're putting down the drop pod. Sweet, that's home, right?
Yeah.
The Gene Stealer player can say, "I'm putting 3 Gene Stealers on that."
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of like cheesing it in a way.
Sure,
because like you can't beat that.
Yeah,
or you can kill one of them and then what? They'll just spawn more like next turn.
Yeah, you would have to like still have like at least 3 of your people alive.
Yeah,
to shoot into it.
Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, exactly right. Shoot them all, and then move on to it.
Yeah. Shoot and kill them all. That's the crazy part. Because you can shoot at them. You could spend all your actions. Like if you had 3 alive still, let's say you had 3 scouts alive.
Yep.
The opponent just dropped 3 Gene Stealers onto the drop pod.
Yep.
You do assault and kill one. There's 2 left.
Yep.
Great. That's awesome. Now your 3 need to roll 6s still to kill these.
Yeah.
Unless you've got the other guy, then maybe it's a 5. The supporting fire guy.
That's only in assault.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so his shooting, he rolls 2 dice.
So shooting is always 6s.
Yep.
So, and you need to move on to that drop pod.
Yeah.
Otherwise, on their next turn, they're just going to drop a new 3.
Exactly, yeah.
So you need to shoot, like 6s. Hit 6s. So
let's say you've got your heavy bolter, right? So he rolls double 6s. Sweet, you've killed 2 of them.
Yeah.
You still need someone to then move onto that tile.
But which is okay.
Yeah.
If somehow he managed to get double 6s.
Yeah. And you've still got at least 3 guys at the end of the game.
Yeah. Those are all big ifs.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse odds, having 3 alive at the end of the game or rolling 2 6s, but I'm pretty sure rolling 2 6s would be easier.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So that's great. It's like, I think when you make a true boxed game with no intentions to cash grab, and make expansions and make it I think it was like a nice, true box game that they hoped would just be timeless, and it is.
It really is. Like you could play this in 50 years' time and it would still be as enjoyable as it is now.
And they should just, miniature production makes it a little bit more difficult, but they could easily update this.
Oh, they could,
They could
absolutely.
pump this out and have it on shelves all year round.
Yep.
In board game stores. It would be awesome.
Oh man, like that's exactly it. Like there's a couple like this. Like there's Lost Patrol, there's Gangs of Kimura, which is a Dark Eldar, like jet bikes. And Hellions are like fighting each other, which I think we'll have to give a go soon as well. It's a very similar, quick, fun kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like they give their production of this to like, I don't know, one of the big board game producers.
Yeah.
And just have it in your board game shops.
Yeah.
Like even places that don't stock GW stuff. Like it's just such a fun, a quick and easy to learn game.
Yeah.
and yeah, timeless, really.
Yeah, and it's awesome because like it's such a gateway game.
It really is. You could be like, wait, hang on, what are these scouts? What are these gene stealers? And you go, oh man, there's like a massive thing behind this.
Yeah.
Like, what is this war? Like, you know,
Yeah.
like it will just get people into it and be like, this is how I lose my house.
Yeah.
Yep.
I reckon they could. I'm just seeing you've opened Escape from Stalingrad on the table over here.
Yep.
And I'm like, the biggest problem with making this a box game all year round where you just throw the sprues in is obviously the assembling of miniatures to the board game crew is it's wild because if they get miniatures, they're already like done.
Yeah, like they're like single mold, soft plastic kind of thing.
Yeah. So for an extra, like instead of selling this game for 90, I mean, it would be like 150 now, whatever.
Yeah.
But just bump it up 10 and give also standees.
Yeah, or tokens even.
Tokens.
Like,
Just say, the miniatures are in there, either use those, but you know, assembly required. They're all push fit.
Yeah.
So you just need to clip them off.
Yep.
But if not, here's some paper standees as well. Or tokens, like you said.
Yep.
And it would play really well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, no expansion, nothing needed. Like, you can pick this game up in 20 years and you're still going to get the same experience.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I feel like this kind of game, being one of the first things that wasn't like, honestly, I think this was the first thing I bought that wasn't Necrons. Like, it was like the second purchase of 40K for me.
Yeah.
And probably cemented my love for Blood Angels, right?
Yeah.
Because they're Blood Angel scouts.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like this standalone kind of thing has really driven probably my attraction to like small, I guess not indie games, but like miniature agnostic games, kind of like, you know, those little skirmish sort of like standalone kind of things.
Yeah.
You know?
I think like as games where the game was the focus.
Yeah.
So many of Games Workshop box sets can become, like you mentioned, Gangs of Gamorra. Sometimes it feels like they write a cool game, then put miniatures to make a box.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, we want to sell these new armies or we want to sell these particular models. Let's throw a game together to make that happen.
Yeah.
Like the new Space Marine board game that I've heard rumors about.
Okay.
Where it's basically just like, it's coming out alongside the new Space Marine 2 video game.
Yep.
And so they're advertising it as the board game, and all they've done is grabbed the new Gene Stealers, maybe?
Okay.
Or whatever, some new NIDs and put it with a single Space Marine, and kind of it's just like Warhammer with less steps.
Okay.
As opposed to making a really cool game where maybe the Space Marine has unique abilities and the whole mechanics around it is completely different.
Yeah. It's like 40K light.
Yeah.
Lighter.
Yeah.
So is this produced by Games Workshop or is this produced by like someone else? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, definitely produced by Games Workshop. I'm not sure if anyone's helping them.
Yeah.
I would say not. It seems...
sounds like an in-house kind of thing.
Yeah, just like their starter sets and that are just like, here's how to play 40K with only a handful of things.
Yep.
So, yeah, it feels more... But that's just what I've heard. I don't know if misinformation has come out or whatever.
True.
But that's what it's looking like they're doing with that. So...
Very true.
So get this instead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't. You can try.
Buy this one.
No.
Shane said he'd sell it.
I will
off camera. He said he's going to throw it out. So you might as well put in a bid. Put it in the comments.
$1 billion.
One Schmeckeldorf. Very cool. Yeah, it was a fun game. I would definitely love to play it. You know, it's like a good camping game.
Oh, true.
Because even the footprint for it's quite small.
You could play it on like a folding table.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if the rules are online because they don't sell it
PDF
anymore.
somewhere.
Because then the tiles is probably the thing you would have to make yourself.
Yeah, which you could. You know, like you could get hex tiles. You could print them off and cut them out, or you can buy like MDF hex tiles. Even you know, you could like if you wanted to play it that badly, you could make it.
You could find a way.
And there's probably people that probably scanned it or something online. You know, like
paper cutout type thing.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well, your internet's bad, but I was going to look if it was like for sale. I wonder if it's got like the original Lost Patrol released in 23 years ago.
Yeah.
In 2000. It's probably like, Lost Patrol. It's like, apparently there's a bunch of bands with...
albums called Lost Patrol?
Yeah. Yeah, so that makes sense. All right, Lost Patrol, the one you have is like, $130, $200. Wow, okay.
Okay, is that... like eBay prices, right?
These are eBay prices. Yeah. In fact, the average price looks to be around 160. So there's one up there right now, as the time of this episode, for 130. or best offer.
Is it in Australia?
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's just for the Aussies. It says it's brand new.
In shrimp.
But everything's built.
Oh, so it's
not brand new.
Second hand.
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
well
indeed.
Well, indeed.
I think that was. I had a lot of fun playing with you guys, especially watching you guys squirm, and like when it all comes down to that one roll, everyone's around it.
Oh yeah.
And then that many times, all of you guys were rolling awful. You probably
awesome.
rolled the best.
Yeah.
And even Jimmy, like it's like everything you need, it's like one pip lower than that. It's like,
yeah.
bro, you need a 3.
It was
rolls a 2.
I was so scared anytime we said all you need to do is not roll a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
And just saying that breathed it onto the things.
Yeah.
But I mean, this rule book is 1, 2, 4, it's 4 pages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 8 pages.
Yeah.
4 double-sided
pages. Yeah.
So that's how simple the game is. But it doesn't, when you play, it doesn't feel simple.
No.
It doesn't feel like, oh, this is the kind of game you'd play 10 times and be bored of it.
No, I think the random tiles, like you never get the same game twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there were times when you guys were exploring, and as the Gene Stealer player, I got to place the tiles how I wish.
Yeah.
As long as they sort of, you couldn't deliberately like block something off. But there was times when you guys were exploring, and all of a sudden it like loops around, and you're like, oh man, like now we got to go back.
Yeah,
it's like it just looped around, or it naturally came to a dead end.
Yep. Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah,
I loved it when you would do that. You would turn a corner, and it's just you'd be staring at a dead end. And you're like, I have to go back through the Gene Stealers to get to the rest of the map.
Yeah. And there are a couple of times when you guys actually did that. Like, one of you like killed one of them, and then you could
escape,
get past. Yeah.
So there's some really cool interactions you have with it. Like you say, you get a different game every time, and especially playing with multiple people. Like, I think if you just played you and me, you get bored of like you play 3 or 4 really fun games.
Yeah,
and be like, all right, let's do something else. But I don't feel like there's a limit if you're playing with your homies.
Yeah.
Like, even stuff like I just read when you drive back scouts because you just came to draw with them in combat.
Yep.
If it's in a multi, like you can split them up.
Oh yeah.
So that's so cool too.
Yep.
Imagine like there's a fork in the path, you split them up, and now we can't get back to each other.
Without going.
There's Gene Stealers. So I have to go the other way, and it's just really cool.
Yeah, so there are some cool mechanics with the whole drive back thing, and like if you can't be driven back, you just die.
Yeah,
I
think in terms of a boxed gateway game, I don't think you can do better than that.
Nah,
you don't want it to be too complicated. That it's like I could play with this with Sarah.
Yeah.
I could play this with anyone.
Yep,
and you could teach it to them.
Yep,
you could pick this up, read the rules, have zero knowledge of it, and then go teach it to someone.
Oh yeah.
All flick through and learn to get. It's 8 pages. Yeah.
Yep.
Really good.
So like when we played, I played with Caitlin maybe a week ago, and it was kind of like refreshing all the rules. Hadn't played it probably since we played it in 2016.
Yeah.
And then when we played again the other night, like I think I checked the rules like once.
Yeah.
Like the rest of it was like, yep, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I know what's going on. Like it's just so light, so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Loved it. Highly recommend. Has our seal of approval.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do these every Sunday.
Would you believe it?
Oh, wouldn't believe it. We do our best because today, we meant to record the other night. We had technical issues. Churchy solved them in about 30 seconds.
Yep.
Churchy's not here today, but he's going to edit this.
Yeah.
Like he used to do.
Can you put an explosion in here, Churchy?
Like bang. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Doesn't have to sound like whatever Shane did, but if
well, you clapped.
Yeah, that's better. Somehow that's better. Imagine that. Someone like throws a grenade and it just goes.
Yep.
It's a weak little clap, but a massive explosion.
Wet clap. Yep.
A wet clap.
Oh, no. That's terrible. That's terrible. Without our patrons, we wouldn't be to this level that we are now with all this cool stuff, lights, cameras, all that sort of jazz.
Action. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
My mistake.
So massive shout out to our patrons. As always, we have the GOATs, Burnsy, Final Dinosaur, Gridlock, Axe, Anax, MJ, Whack the Ewok, Test Dummy, and Black Apollo.
We've also got our OG homies in Brandon W, Moose, Elko, Churchy, Rad, Ollie, Hockers, Penny, Aggro, Don Hua, Don, Pure Blind, Primal Nerds, Jackson V, and Big Rose.
Your list is just getting longer and longer, dude.
Yeah, we got some OGs.
We do.
We got some OGs. We
do.
Thank you.
Yep.
It is getting longer and longer. We've got a second channel.
Yeah.
Where we throw all of our video content. So if you ever want to see us play Lost Patrol on that other channel,
it'll be on that.
It'll be on that. Let us know in the comments of this one.
Maybe.
If that's something that you want to do.
So give that a sub. That's, like all our battle reports go there, unboxings, any kind of stuff that's not an episode.
Yeah.
So check that out. Link in the description. There is one of the homies, Mini Warmer. He is doing the Great Mini Painting Challenge of September. So by the time you guys hear this, you're kind of a couple of days late.
Yeah.
But you've got a month to paint as many miniatures as you can.
And is he documenting that on his YouTube channel?
He is. So
link in the description?
Yeah, we'll chuck a link for that in there.
You can just type in Mini Warm-Up or one word.
Yeah. You'll find him.
Otherwise, we'll slap a link in.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to taking part in that. I've got some Parsecs minis I need to get done.
Oh, you're doing it?
Oh, I'm doing it. Yeah, dude. I've got maybe like 20 odd miniatures I'm going to try and
So what is the challenge? It's just to paint as many as you can?
It's just paint as many as you can. Yeah,
September?
Yep, for September.
Well, I got some Sylvaneth in my slow grow that I'm going to try and pump.
Oh, yeah, you can do that.
That's 36 miniatures.
You could do that. Easy, dude.
So we're racing. Let's do it. Should we drop in the Discord? Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, we'll do it. You'll put it in there as well. So, yeah, massive thank you to all you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Peace.
Hooroo.
Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing